Hi, I'm Eric Lanask here at ITEXPO Miami. We're here in the studio in Miami Beach, Florida, and I'm talking with CommLogik's Kevin Fox. Kevin, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure, Eric.
So, what's the latest? What's CommLogik been up to?
Well, we're excited. We have some significant growth expectations in 2013. Our focus is on two-tier distribution for the Americas with a specialty in unified communications.
So let's get right to it. Where's this growth that you're looking for coming from?
Well, what we've done is we've segmented our business into 4 different categories or practices or disciplines within the UC arena, specifically in video conferencing, contact center, telephony, and in connectivity in general. And our business model is basically focused on elevating the capabilities of our business partners in order for them to add more value for their customers. And we do this by guaranteeing the interoperability and integration of all these different components within the UC space.
Now, are you seeing growth or interest in across the UC environment as a whole, or in any one or two of those particular elements?
Well, every customer has different needs, and our philosophy and view of unified communications is that it's a strategy, not necessarily a product or a service. So every customer needs a fit-to-purpose solution, and as a consequence, their needs are going to change. So what we do is we determine what the requirements are for the customer. We guarantee that we're using category-leading technologies, and then make sure that we're integrating those solutions and guaranteeing the interoperability of those as well.
So when you're getting client-specific and somewhat personal, if you will, with the customers and their solution needs, does that change your time to market with the product or time to deployment?
Well, we do have a very specific initiative with Microsoft around Lync. And I think that we have a very special relationship with Microsoft in that Lync is the first solution that Microsoft come out with that depends on third-party elements in order to really deliver a full solution. And many of the Microsoft partners are lacking or limited in their communications capabilities. They come from a model that's more accustomed to selling licenses and applications and professional services. So we really bridge the gap between all of these technology manufacturers that participate in the Microsoft interoperability program and delivering those technologies in order to provide a complete solution through partners in the market.
Speaking of Microsoft Lync, obviously a ton of media hype around Lync. There always is when Microsoft comes out with something. It happened with OCS, happened with Lync. OCS didn't necessarily play out the way people thought it might.
Yeah.
Lync seems like there's a little more meat behind it, more than just hype.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that. I think that Microsoft realized that getting into the telephony space, the traditional PBX space, wasn't as easy as they thought it was, and it's because of the fact that their partners weren't really prepared to take on the likes of a Cisco and Avaya, for instance. And really, this is where we feel there's a void in the market that we can help to fill by bringing all of these elements in the video conferencing space and the gateways that are required, the IP endpoints necessary, the contact center solutions necessary to really provide a complete and holistic offering around Lync, and trying to bridge the gap between the Microsoft Lync platform and its partners in order to be able to deliver that to the customers.
There are obviously some challenges involved with having to bring together so many different pieces of the UC puzzle, like you mentioned, from the networking to the gateways to the UC platforms. How do you overcome those challenges?
Well, I mean, and that's the secret sauce, really. That's the reason why we're in business is we've invested in having significant expertise, capabilities, resources that are certified in all these different disciplines. And this is the value that we bring to our customers and to companies like Microsoft and various other vendors that we do business with that are part of the interoperability program, including companies like AudioCodes and LifeSize and Net and Sonus and Polycom and Snome and various others that really are looking for an organization like CommLogik to really help bridge the gap between their technology offering, which is a component of a UC solution, and being able to guarantee that it's integrated and guaranteeing the interoperability with the other elements that provide a complete solution. Lync is is a core element of many of these UC offerings and an important practice of ours.
So how does a distributor like yourselves deal with potential situations where you've got competitive vendors and you're dealing with both vendors that are by nature competitive in the rest of the market, but you're trying to sell both of them?
Well, we let the customer decide. At the end of the day, what we do is we really try to determine what the customer's requirements are, and as a consequence, we bring the category leading solutions that are able to satisfy that need versus trying to push or plug a technology that may not really meet the requirements of the customer. And we have presence throughout the region. We're headquartered here in Miami, and we have offices in Mexico, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, and Ecuador, and other sales offices in various parts of the Latin American region. So it really provides us with the ability to provide a complete breadth and overall coverage for not only the vendor manufacturers that we represent, but also for the customers that may have regional presence and need support in various markets.
I think in North America, certainly, regarding unified communications, we've come across that sort of hump of early adopters, and really unified communications doesn't need explanation anymore. It's about determining a strategy for your business. Where does the Latin American market stand?
It's getting the same level of buzz. I think the adoption has been slower, and that's typically the case with most new technologies or most trends. Where you have some issues in some cases with bandwidth and just the fundamental infrastructure that allows for the integration of these solutions. In the major metro areas, in the major markets, we're definitely seeing a migration, particularly at the top of the pyramid first, where the larger organizations are looking to incorporate some of these collaboration technologies and be able to maximize their productivity as a consequence. And we're starting to see this trickle down a little bit more. And as the telcos become participants in the go-to-market strategy and a real important part of the UC ecosystem, you're going to start seeing much more adoption within the mid-market and even the smaller SOHO customer base.
Geographically speaking, where are you seeing the most movement or the most traction?
Well, this is it's also specific to where we have our focus. As I mentioned, we have presence throughout the region. We're seeing a significant growth in Colombia, frankly, where we've been investing significantly in our operations there. That market is really taken off. We think that it's robust and ready for significant growth. Mexico is another market where we feel that we need to embrace even further. We think that the market's ripe for growth and really is starting to adopt these types of technologies.
Now, you talked about the benefits of collaboration. Is it the benefits of UC, or is it the potential cost savings that's really attractive in the Latin American market?
It's a great question. I think it's a mixture of both, depending on the customer and their business processes really dictate the UC adoption. The cost savings is typically a driver in being able to kind of accelerate the acceptance and the acquisition of the technology. But the acceleration of business processes, maximizing productivity, reducing the cost of travel in many cases, because these are vast geographic, expansive, markets, really is a driving factor as far as cost is concerned. But what we're finding is that the reduction or the maximization of productivity is really, the key factor and driver.
Excellent. Well, Kevin, appreciate you spending some time with us here today. Have a great show here at ITEXPO Miami.
Enjoy Miami Beach.
You bet. Thank you.
Okay. Take care.